Hello yet again. I don't know if anyone is there. I don't know if anyone exists. Clearly, nobody does. There's nobody here now. So I assume whoever wanted me to do this did this for a reason. You're here. Well, hello, Tina and Jill and Paulie. But no, I don't understand all this nonsense about noise because I don't get any noise at my end. I can hear myself, and the people who are sitting with me can see it on a TV channel in front of me, and they can see it, and it's perfectly normal. So I don't quite know what this is all about, but it's getting rather annoying. Someone was sniffing in the background. Well, he's just done it again. Please don't do that again, Finn. Thank you. My internet is dodgy. No, it's not my internet. I didn't freeze. Yesterday, half of the people said, my internet works. Put corks in his nostrils. No. You can hear me well, says Ingrid.
That's nice.
No, Finn, please be quiet. Don't get too involved. Don't get too crazy. But Finn is a lovely gentleman and must be encouraged. He's a wonderful local person and a wonderful local talent. Have I got Nora Batty stockings on? No, Finn was talking about the lovely Compo from the last of the summer wine with me earlier, and how he'd got ferrets down his pants, but that's another story. Anyway, moving back, Finn is not under the weather as far as I'm aware. Finn is quite well. He's just had a cup of tea. He's not from Finland, no, as far as I'm aware. I haven't had my hair cut, no. What some of your descendants live in Compo's home? Yes, we are getting the snorting noise occasionally. You need to blow your nose. Stop snorting and sniffing, says Kaz Williams. Right, I don't know what we do about this. Do I have a Facebook page? Is it yours? I do have a Facebook page of. I don't know. Do you mean Facebook? Yes, I have a Facebook. Yes, just my own. Yes. You'd like to have Finn showcase examples of his artwork. Well, we would all like Finn to showcase art. Claudia, Finn, could you please go and get your example of your artwork, and then I will show it. We love the laughing Finn. Oh, don't break the clock. Right. So here is an example of Finn's lovely artwork. I don't know if you can see it. That is a picture of Ramsgate. I hope you all like it. It's a wonderful drawing. I don't know if it comes across very well on the screen, but I'll show you again. You think it's rather good. Oh, wow. Well, Finn should have his own channel. Yes, it would be great to have Finn's artwork channel. There we go. Let's encourage Finn. Looking great. Well, there we go. He's incredibly talented. Finn, you are being complimented and you're being encouraged. We want a drawing of the magnet, but Finn must be quiet and not interject. Quiet, Finn. Not too much. Moving on, yes. So let's go back to Holly. Holly Willoughby. So she made an appearance in the Midsummer Murders. I explained a little about the people I knew who were in the Midsummer Murders. But Holly, Wally, Golly, Dolly has decided to appear in Midsummer Murders as a guest appearance. And Christopher Stevens of the Daily Mail said, not exactly Betty Davis in her prime. And she began with a cough and an excuse me. And she didn't ask, "Are you okay?" like she normally does. But the main character, who is called, just a moment, John Barnaby, played by Neil Dudgeon, went, "Is that Gloria Hunniford?" I don't know whether this was meant to be some kind of sick joke, but frankly, does Holly really want to be compared to Gloria? You know, the sidekick of Cliff Richard. You know, this is a very odd thing to do. But meanwhile, Holly has also been snubbed. The National Television Awards have not included her. Now, what do you think of that, viewers? And there are 231 of you, which is not that many because we've now been ruined by this silly people telling me that the internet froze, which is probably a load of rubbish. There were far more in the first time. So thank you very much to whoever's pulling the trolling little campaign. Bog off Holly, yes. Good riddance, Holly Wally. But do you actually like the do you actually like the fact that Holly has decided to start an acting career or not? She gets where water can't. Oh, that's probably not meant to be a nice comment. It was frozen before. Well, I don't believe so. But we don't have any of these moderators tonight. But if the moderator is here, please could we not slow down and speed up the speed, because whatever that means, it was upsetting some of the people last night. I know that is a problem. So she already had an acting career when she pretended she didn't know Phil's lover. Well, she certainly acted up when she was when she was skipping in the queue at the viewing of the poor old late Queen's laying in state. I think that was a true example of acting up. She'll play a boring self. Well, I totally agree. As for Phil, so I believe Phil, Mr. Schofield, the man who dared to do his little trick with the water lilies, which I think you all know about. I'm not going to bore you with the story, my familial story of water lilies and Philip Schofield, but Mr. Schofield is allegedly writing a book. Would you like to read it? Vote 1 if you want to read it. Vote 2 if you don't, following the other channel's school of thought. Oh, you want to read it? Good God. You'd like to read his book? You actually want to believe his lies? You must be deranged. Totally disagree with all of you, but there we go. JH House Media, yeah, I agree with you. And Maureen, I agree with you. And John Felwell, but the rest of you, John Julien, yes. Everless Sunglass, you actually want to read a book? By Philip Schofield? What on earth would you want to read in this book? He's not going to tell you anything other about his boxed wine. Oh, 2 means no. Well, there you go. Oh, there we are. Yes. Oh, you don't want to read it. Well, there you are. You're all right. Sorry, I do apologize. I get it wrong. Anyway, we'll move swiftly along to the next topic. Rishi Sunak. What do you think of Rishi Sunak supporting the new candidate for Mid-Bedfordshire today? He really is trying to distance himself from Nadine Dorries. And we're not going to go back to the Nadine story because we've already done it. But he's offered support for the new Conservative candidate, as is to be expected. But where are you going now? Huh? Oh, Finn is leaving the building. Oh, so there we go. Anyway, there are too many parties, I would say, in this situation. The Labour came second at the last election, but the disaffected Tories will vote for the Liberal Democrat. The local election results aren't a guide because all the independents won. So there were no winners. So who on earth is going to win in this constituency? There is the possibility that the Tory could again win. Seahorse says Rishi is dog water. Well, that's one particular view, but this is an area of England where the Liberal Democrats could actually make a difference and win. You don't think it makes any difference to your lives? There we go. But British politics is dead. Well, it's all very disappointing. You didn't vote for Rishi. But we're not talking about Rishi here. We're talking about the Bedfordshire election here. You think he's the devil incarnate. It died with Margaret Thatcher. He's a no-mark. Oh. Rishi from Emmerdale would do a better job. I didn't know there was someone called Rishi in Emmerdale, but maybe there is. Where is my local MP? Well, in London, the local MP is a lady called Felicity Buchan. She is absolutely useless in Kensington. She does nothing for anybody. She's a complete waste of space. She was always the local alcoholic in the local bar. She was always having a beverage. She was always a red-faced and completely awful. Felicity Bouquet, yes. And down here in Kent, we have a man called Craig McKinley. Mr. McKinley is a Poundland version of Boise. Absolutely shocking and absolutely appalling. He does nothing for the local community. And where is he when we've got seaweed and sewage on the beach? Why isn't he there picking it up himself? Shame on you, McKinley. Absolutely awful. Your local MP is Ian Duncan Smith, Jane. Oh dear. He's an absolutely appalling. McKinley says toilet, does he? Well, he belongs in one. Craig the Pooh. I'll remember that one. You're right. Craig the Pooh. Well, he is, it's covered in sewage, all this seaweed. Absolutely shocking. So we haven't even got on to the serious topics of the night yet, and there's only we're only just getting into the night. So Screwed Crime, is he back here? Screwed Crime. There we go. Is he back in the house? As long as he doesn't change the speed, because it did cause all the problems. So I don't know we mustn't change the speed this evening because it upset all the people. Screwed politics, you mean? Oh, I don't think that. I think we're on to talking about somebody else. No. There we go. Oh, YouTube banned Screwed Politics. Well, I don't know about that. I've actually no idea. Screwed Crime is renamed. Oh, well, I don't know. Anyway, I've actually no idea about any of this nonsense. I just come here to talk, and if you don't like me, you have the right to leave. If you don't, there we go. I cannot do anything about silliness or craziness and whatever else. I don't need to know about Tara having no knickers on. That's her choice. Thank you, Tara, for sharing that, but I don't think anyone wishes to know or see that. There we go. Anyway, we shall move swiftly along shortly. You didn't like the Notting Hill Carnival. Well, nobody liked that. The Notting Hill Carnival was an appallingly run, terrible thing, and various people got stabbed, and there were machetes and all sorts of things. I've seen lots of footage. It's an absolute disgrace. I call it the nothing hell, the dump on the hump, and the whole thing is utterly disgraceful. I think the thing should be held in a park because it would be better, because it could be managed in a confined space. It is not suitable to be held in public streets where people's homes are, because they go around relieving themselves on the street. It's utterly shocking. I've never been to it, don't want to go to it. My friends who live in that vicinity board their houses up. I don't know why they'd even buy a house in that vicinity, frankly, because the prospect of having that done to your house and graffiti and all the rest, what a dump. You paid £10 million for a house and you have a graffiti put all over it. He deranged. You must be off your rocker. I don't see the point of living in that horrible area, but many people I know seem to like that area. They want to live in that area, but they don't want all of that. I'm sorry, you can see my drug of choice, Cadbury's Dairy Milk, in the background. And now I've got a woman singing outside. I've no idea what this is, and it's coming this way. Oh dear. You probably can't hear it, but thank God. Right. There we go. I need to be banned or moved. Right. Anyway, we'll move swiftly along to other topics before the mad woman outside starts interfering. But no, I think we've covered Holly Wally. So we'll move along to Jeffrey Epstein. We'll move along to Ghislaine, actually. Ghislaine. So Ghislaine has turned Jewish. Do you believe, now here's another vote. I'll try and get this right. Do you believe Ghislaine has genuinely turned Jewish? 1? Or do you believe Ghislaine's turning Jewish is 2 because she wants to get all the benefits that go with Judaism in prison? So you're all saying, well, most of you are saying 2, right? Lots of 2s. So Ghislaine in prison has adopted her late father's faith. This has been revealed by Silja J.A. Talvey, a journalist, and she's supported now by the Reaching Out organization. They are helping her with her needs. Now, her needs... No, she wasn't already Jewish. She was brought up in the Catholic faith because of her mother. So, no, that's incorrect, actually. No, she's allowed to take a break from prison chores on Jewish holidays. She gets kosher food, which is costlier. She has access to a rabbi. She's excused from work for 25 hours from sundown on Fridays to observe the Jewish Sabbath. She's getting all the privileges. Ghislaine is yet again proving herself like her father, the crook, yes, and well said. Maureen Kelly, you speak utter sense. It's a good way of Ghislaine being a very clever woman, as Elaine Smith says. Ghislaine Maxwell is a shameless piece of toe rag, and I will keep calling her out for all her loopholes she's using. Well said, Gary B. Not Gary Kemp. I don't know why I nearly called you that, but I did. There you go. Oh, well, screwed crime cannot moderate. There we go. I don't know if she gets to wear a Homburg. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's something that she will be wearing. But no, they call it the prayer perks. But Ghislaine is again proving Ghislaine to be Ghislaine. All she does is abuse the system. She is a nasty, vile, evil woman who never gives up. And her nasty little traction train. And has she been circumcised? Well, I don't believe so, no. That's a funny question, but what about her ocean charity? Well, it doesn't exist anymore as far as I'm aware. Do they have chicken soup in prison? Well, she's vegan, so she won't eat chicken. Your chocolate isn't the same in North America. Well, it's definitely not the same for Ghislaine in prison. But anyway, that was just something I thought was very interesting, was Ghislaine's latest antics, because not many people get to hear about this. Crispy bacon, well, she was vegan, so I don't think she had bacon ever, but well, she probably had bacon as a child before she became a vegan. Her father was fished out of the ocean. Well, vegans are tedious. Well, I can't make a comment on that, but that's, some vegans are very pleasant people, but some are not. But so are so many meat eaters. Some are not. Her dad was Mossad. Well, probably yes, I do believe so. There was a lot of meat on their island. No, there wasn't meat. That's very nasty. That's not fair, because the victims were poor young people who were abused. So please don't insult the victims, because I actually know several of the victims, and that's not a kind thing to say, and I don't like what you just said. So I don't appreciate that. And thank you for saying sorry. When people get things wrong, we should always say sorry. And we can all say things in haste. And I make jokes that are stupid from time to time, and I should apologize too. But the victims of Ghislaine Maxwell, and Ghislaine was the chief of the municipality. Jeffrey Epstein was the functionary. I do not believe the lies that have been told in this story. The chief of the municipality was Ghislaine. Ghislaine had the address book. Every single person in that bloody address book was hers. It wasn't his. He had a few of them that came later, but the origins of that address book, why do you think this man got involved? Because she was useful. And why do you think she got involved with him? Because he could get her money, and she was broke, and she needed help, and he helped her, and she helped him. It was a two-way relationship. They didn't love one another. They weren't sexually attractive to one another. He liked young people. She did. I don't know what she liked. She was just odd. She was just a freak, but she's still a freak, and she will always be a freak. And she's an evil, evil, evil toe rag, just like her evil father, who stole £500 million from pensioners. Don't you ever forget this freak, the power freak, Ghislaine Maxwell. Don't believe the lies you're being told about Jeffrey Epstein being, the big boss. He was a taxi driver. Nothing wrong with being a taxi driver, but he was not the big boss. He was a taxi driver who became a teacher. And from being a teacher, he met rich people. And through the rich people, he came into the orbit of this Maxwell family, the Maxwell crime family. And they laundered this money through him. £500 million that was missing, that's never been recovered. And suddenly, he's living in £100 million house when he was a teacher, a taxi driver. Are you serious? Do you believe this stupid story you're being fed? This man with a ranch in New Mexico with a pair of islands worth 125 million dollars, even now, even after all the shame it's had associated with it. Do you believe any of this? You're the man with an apartment in Paris, with private jets, submarines. Do you believe all of this? Follow the money, as Ali here says. That is the book I'm writing. I've been writing this, and my little web. I wish I could show you my little web. Don't think I've got the book next to me, so I can't because there's no one else here to help me. So they've all gone. So honestly, follow the dirty money of Maxwell. Don't ever believe the lies that you are being fed, because these liars and deceivers are untruthers, and they're just spinning you a yarn. Go back, look at all my old articles. I put dates on things. I put context. Everything I do, I follow facts. A fact is not a fact until you've proven it's a fact. Look back at Jeffrey Epstein. And, this week there's been a wonderful article by a thing called Intelligentsia. I urge you to read it. Now, Intelligentsia go after the newly revealed associates. Now, there's all the usual ones. Jess Staley, Leon Black, Prince Andrew, Ehud Barak, Peter Mandelson, and there's a great website. Please go and look at it. It's called Labour Heartlands. This covers the relationship between Peter Mandelson, British government minister, close associate of Tony Blair, photographed holidaying with Jeffrey Epstein in British Virgin Islands and in US Virgin Islands, or whatever you call it, and in Paris, after he'd been convicted, been accused of offences. And also, but Labour Heartlands, read that. Anyway, the site called Intelligentsia, they go after some newly revealed associates. We've got Sergey Brin, Google co-founder. Cecile de Jong, former First Lady of US Virgin Islands. She was particularly helpful to him. She got little passports for, little jobs for all sorts of young ladies, allegedly. And she's not been able to prove that she didn't do this. Leon Botstein, the president of Bard College. William Burns, who was a director of the CIA. Taj Rod Lawson, ex-diplomat. He liked cucumber in his gin. Make of that as you will. I hate putting pollution in my alcohol. Yeah, disgusting. Then we've got Joshua Cooper, a Ramo. He was a FedEx board member. He was a board member of Starbucks. I hate coffee. Disgusting. And I hate Starbucks particularly. Dreadful. And I went to Seattle as a child before. It was the Seattle Coffee Company when I used to go there. Didn't like it though. Complete wrong-uns, all of these people. Their associations with Jeffrey Epstein should bring them to be named and shamed. Ariana de Rothschild, chairwoman of Edmund de Rothschild Group. She spent £1 million on Epstein's behalf in 2014 to 15. This is a man who's already been in prison for sexual offences. What was Ariana de Rothschild doing helping a convicted sex offender? Now, she has a lot of questions to answer. And then finally, I'll give you one more example, but you must read the Intelligentsia article. I wish I knew how to send links and all this. I'm not very good at all of this. Catherine Rumler, Goldman Sachs General Counsel. She worked at the White House. Strange that he was always going around with Bill Clinton. She regrets ever knowing Jeffrey Epstein, she now says. Now, that is just a few examples of new revelations of people who have associated with this dreadful devil man, Epstein. But I continue to say, Epstein was not the worst of the two. The worst of the two was the mucky madam. And The Guardian this week wrote an article in which they talked about Leon Black, who was another one involved in this allegedly, and they referred to Ghislaine as a madam. And now they've retracted the word madam and said she's got to be called a sex offender. I will continue to call Ghislaine Maxwell a mucky madam. She is a mucky madam because she was a procurer. And I have reported in the past about what went on in 1994 in Stanhope Mews East, when I have talked about that before and referred to my articles. Ghislaine was allegedly running a brothel. Metropolitan Police did nothing because Dame Cressida Dick, chief of the Metropolitan Police, went to school with Ghislaine Maxwell, went to university with Ghislaine Maxwell. Hello, we have a weird sequence. Now, that does not mean that any of these other people have done anything wrong. But the coincidence, and you've got Boris Johnson's sister. Oh, I loved going to university with Ghislaine, and I feel a bat squeak. How could nobody feel a bat squeak of sympathy for Ghislaine? This is the problem with this story. This story involves people who have been protecting people stupidly. And I'll come to the next bunch of stupid people in a moment. But honestly, I suppose at this point I should come in on two more of their close associates who've been named today. DailyMail.com. Glenn Dubin and his wife, Eva Anderson Dubin. Eva used to date Jeffrey. They live in New York. The godparents of the children of Glenn and Eva, well, one of them was Jeffrey Epstein. They used to fly around on planes together. Even after he got out of prison, he spent 2 weeks with them, with their children. This man, a convicted abuser. Lovely people. Anyway, it turns out that they've given $113,200 to the American Exceptionalism Super PAC, supporting a man called Vivek Ramsway. He wants to be the Trump Mark II. And we all know that Trump was a friend of Epstein. Can you see the pattern that's emerging here? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but these people, they're like glue, and they're like the swamp. And Trump wanted to drain the swamp. Well, this is the new swamp. These people are ridiculous. Vivek Ramsway he's an anti-woke person. No, I don't have a problem with. I don't like wokeism, but he believes God is real and all of that. But he's running as Trump Mark II. He's a very arrogant idiot. Don't like the sound of that. But Glenn and Eva. What's going on with you, Glenn and Eva? You're not a very nice couple, I don't think. But I make maps, and one day I'll show you. I wish I could get it, but I don't think I've got it. I haven't got. Maybe I have got it. if I can get it, you can see it. You can see an example of a map, but I don't know if I have it. No, I think it's in my other notebook. No, this is the wrong notebook. No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately, you're not going to get a map tonight because maps are not in this book. I have so many notebooks. You have to have the right notebook next to you. But no, I think Glenn and Eva are Glenn Dubin is the name, Zenny. Half the people in the chat are in Speedos. Well, I'm not a Speedo. Nor is... you met Glenn and Eva at Torture Garden. Oh, there we go. Anyway, moving along to the next part of the same story. I will talk about Prince Andrew's apologists. So, on GB News last night, they had a lady, Victoria Harvey, attacking Emily Maitlis and Nina Miskow. Her nickname, Nina, is the bitch on the box. Probably not allowed to say that, so I may get cancelled for that, but there we go. If I get cancelled, I get cancelled, don't I? And Nina Miskow said that Prince Andrew had stitched himself up on the Emily Maitlis interview. Lady Victoria responded, Maitlis stitched him up. She went into an interview with an idea, and I'm making him, and I'm going to make him look guilty, she said. The lighting, the editing, I know the truth. So she tried to blame Victoria Harvey, the lighting, for Prince Andrew making an utter fool of himself on a TV show. You love her on GB News. Well, good for you. I don't agree. I have met her. I don't particularly love her. She was perfectly pleasant to me in person. I have no problem with her. We have mutual friends. But, well, I just think that her comments are insulting to the victims. And Twitter responded to me by saying, Andrew stitched himself up. GB News and its seedy presenters won't make that clear for reasons clear. Totally agree with that. Another one said, yeah, it was all in the lighting. Yeah, right. Pull the other one. He needs his fly stitching up, says another one. I don't know what that was meant to mean, but there we go. Lady Victoria is very much part of the club. And yes, she is supported by various people of that type. There we go. So, no. And meanwhile, today also, Anne Widdecombe went on Jeremy Vine and talks about the church car journey of Prince Andrew. And these apologists for Prince Andrew, it's too much. So Miss Widdecombe had to say, can you calm down, please, to Jeremy Vine about mention of this. I think it's cruel and wrong. He's never been convicted of anything. He was put in a no-win situation. You don't give justice to only people you like. She was questioned about the non-sweating nonsense, the £7 to £12 million payment, and, you know, brought the family firm into disrepute. I quite think they were quite right to call her out. Anne Widdecombe is one of the most ghastly pieces of toe rag ever. Horrible to Michael Howard, decent gentleman, nothing wrong with him. calling him a person of the night. She's more like Doris Dracula, the old bag. She's a disgrace. She hates fox hunting. She loves abortion. Hates abortion. She loves the death penalty. She's a woman of contradictions, of all sorts of weirdness. She mixes up every kind of emotion. She doesn't like women priests. Oh, she's just mad. Absolute, complete. Doris Karloff was her nickname. She was one of the worst people ever brought into the Conservative Party, and shame on whoever elected her as an MP, because God only how you end up with a psycho like her. She is a horrible, evil, vile, Brexit-supporting, tedious, racist, bigoted woman. And I once had to sit next to her at the Carlton Club, and a woman fainted. And this woman spilled her wine, and she started screaming at her. And I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen such appalling behavior, because she got red wine on her dress. She should man up, show up, and grow up, stupid old bag. Ghastly, horrible person. And somebody else here was going on about the Eccleston family. Well, send Anne Widdecombe to hang out with you and the Eccleston family. I can't stand the Ecclestons, and I can't stand Anne Widdecombe. And Widdecombe belongs with the Ecclestons. Yes, very suitable friends. Is Michael Gove worse? The Carlton Club, yes, it's a horrible place. Dreadful. Not my kind of place. I used to be a member of it. Not my kind of thing. I did have my 21st birthday party there, which was fun. But beyond that, it became odd. Absolutely awful. No, the Widdecombe woman and the Ecclestons belong together. Bog off to the Eccleston family. Well said, Invisible Ray. He's going to be on trial in November. Cheers to you, Bernie. Hope you have fun. There we go. Not my kind of people. You love my Cadbury's chocolate bar. Yes. Well, I love a bit of Cadbury's chocolate. There you go. A few books as well. I don't know who Callie Diamond is, so I couldn't possibly talk about it. Who is worse, Barrymore or Widdecombe? Well, obviously Michael Barrymore. That's just, please. Michael Barrymore has not been decent about the situation with the Lubbock family and the victims of a murder at the swimming pool of Michael Barrymore should not be treated in this way. No. So, of course, he's far worse. Anne Widdecombe's just a nasty politician, and she's on her own planet, but that doesn't make her evil. There we go. I don't know why we want people's names spelt correctly, but that's nothing to do with me. And all these repeated questions are rather silly. So I will soon be ending this conversation, because there is no point continuing with all of this ranting here. There we go. Right. There you go. Well, I thank you all very much for your lovely questions, and I think it's probably best to say that this has been a lovely evening, and it's better to say thank you very much to all of you, and have a wonderful evening. Take care, good night, and good gardening to you all.